Rebel Rousers. Welcome back to Rebellion Reborn, a segment of Prime and Tech Files, which of course is a Southgate Media Group podcast dedicated to all things Heroes Prime and Heroes Reborn related stuff. I am Lilith, and with me is...
It's Ricky. Roundtable Ricky.
Oh, speaking of Roundtable, this is a special edition of Rebellion Reborn. It is the Roundtable edition. Let's have our participants introduce themselves.
My name is Daniel McFadin. I write the reviews of Heroes Reborn for HeroSite.net, which is part of the K-Site TV family. So I've been doing that this year.
Hey, this is Shannon Fox. I do the reviews / recaps for Heroes Reborn on the Nerd Machine, which is Zachary Levi's company / brand, aka Luke Collins. Yeah, and I'm excited to be here.
Awesome.
Hey, it's Ty Freligh. I write for Heroes Reborn for Flickering Myth, and I'm really happy to be on the show.
So, we're going to start off with, how did you guys get into Heroes, whether it be the original or Heroes Reborn? And we'll start off with Shannon.
Well, I mean, I'll be completely honest. I mean, because I was already writing for the Nerd Machine, and because Zach's in it, we kind of felt like, his show should be represented on basically what's his website. But I was into the original Heroes as well. So I think I kind of chose to recap it because I had a little bit of the backstory from it. I knew about a little bit, and then it kind of just went from there. So
awesome. Ty?
Yeah, I'm a huge nerd of this type of show, and I watched the original. I was one of the people that was dumbfounded when it just suddenly ended. And so when I saw that they were doing Heroes Reborn, I was stoked because they would finally get to finish it. So, I've been a fan of the original show and of the new show.
I think the question is, were you a fan till the end?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good.
Till the end. And I went to Comic-Con this year, and I went to the panel with Tim Kring, and I was just out of my mind with happiness about it.
Nice. And Daniel?
Well, I was an early adopter of the show. I watched it from its premiere on September 24th, 2006. I think that was the date. Yeah. Maybe the 27th. And for the entire original run, I only missed 2 episodes live, one in the first season, and I believe the season 4 premiere, I got 5 minutes into it, and a fire alarm went off in my college dorm. So, yeah, I've been a Heroes fan since the beginning, and I stayed through till the end, even though it was hard to at some points, for many reasons we could go talking about. But I remember they announced Heroes Reborn, last year, February of last year, and it came out of nowhere because, 5 months before that or so, they had announced that there was going to be a Heroes comic book continuing the series, and then that just kind of got forgotten, and then there was that commercial during the Olympics, and it just blew me out of the water. And then that seems like such a long time ago that they announced that, and it wasn't on our screens until September of this year. So
it's really weird how it was summer 2015, and then all of a sudden it was a full premiere. But yeah. We'll get on to. So, this is a very broad question, but what are your thoughts on the kind of season thus far? And I'll start with Ty.
I've liked it. It's been spotty. There's been some really amazing episodes, and there's been some episodes that have been kind of nothing really happened. I think they did a good job of building up the last couple of episodes before the fall finale. So I'm kind of excited to see what happens with the end. But overall, I'd say average season. Maybe not as good as I had hoped for.
Fair enough. I'll move on to Daniel.
Well, after 5 years of no Heroes, any Heroes is great, but it got off to a great start with those first 2 episodes, and then it kind of fell off for the next 3 episodes before it got into Game Over and June 13th and stuff. I feel I've enjoyed it, but I feel like this is a 13 episode season. I think it bit off a little bit more than it could chew with 13. I think it would have been better at like 10 maybe. And I feel like overall this season, if it's a first one or not, it's kind of lacked some urgency to the Healy and stuff like that like the first season, of the original series had throughout its entire like 24 episode run. But we can get more into that later. So
and Shannon,
I feel like it's been like kind of almost like a roller coaster. Like there's there's moments that are so exciting. And then I agree with, what everyone else said. Like there has been moments of, okay, like let's get the story rolling here. I don't think I've like screamed at my television more, like either in frustration or like what is happening or whatever. I mean, overall, like I like it. I think I'm enjoying it, but it is kind of up and down for me. Yeah.
What do you guys think of what they've done with the Heroes Prime cast so far?
Personally, for me, it's hard because like my favorite people didn't really come back. So I'm kind of a lot of the time just sitting there like, I wish this person was here. But there's some of it I like and some of it I don't. I'm puzzled about Matt Parkman. I don't know. I almost feel like I have to like reserve judgment a little bit because I'm like, I don't know where this is going. I will say, however, that I am like exceedingly disappointed in HRG from like the last 2 episodes because I'm like, you should be smarter than this. Like, I know you make mistakes, but you should really be smarter than this. So I've been a little frustrated with him just specifically the past 2 episodes.
Okay. Ty.
Yeah, I think the times that I've been the most excited watching the show is when the original cast is on. I know they're trying to introduce new cast and kind of combine it with the old cast, but I find myself most excited when the original cast is on. And I do agree, Matt Parkman bummed me out.
Oh.
I mean, he was the moderator on the panel at Comic-Con, or I thought he'd be a good guy. And now he's a really, really bad guy, and that's a bummer.
Daniel.
I disagree with calling Matt a really, really bad guy, because this is really, before, he went off and did a vision quest following a turtle or whatever in the original run. I feel like this would have been a natural direction for the character, because think about it. We're 10 years.
Yeah, it's 10 years gone.
Yeah. No, if you remember, when back in the first season, the episode 5 years gone, where Hero goes in the future, this is basically what Matt was doing.
Except without the salt and pepper hair, yeah.
Salt and pepper, yeah. I feel like this is, in that same area that he kind of would have naturally progressed, and he's not out killing Evos. He's looking out for himself and his family, and it's understandable. And I kind of like what Greg Grunberg's doing with it. He kind of gets to chew a little bit of scenery, like this last episode. But no, overall, yeah, like you guys said, the best parts of the season are when the cast from the original series is making their appearances. Those are the strongest episodes. Which means the episodes which they're not in aren't very good or aren't that great. And I think HRG has been consistent throughout the entire season. It was the perfect decision to have him be the center point of this narrative. I feel like Angela Petrelli should have been present in some way throughout those first 5 or 6 episodes before June 13th. And hopefully we'll get to see her again in the next 3. And I kind of hate that Mohinder has kind of got shortchanged being in only 1 episode. And we don't know what's up with Hero. And I loved Hero's arc through those 3 episodes. And they've given Tim Crean and them, they've given themselves an out with all of these characters that may or may not be dead because you haven't seen them die. So, the Heroes Prime characters, if that's what we're going to call them, I could have used a little bit more of them. So
I think Tim's always had outs with bringing back characters because and he's never really gone all the way with it, apart from I think me and Liv were talking about like maybe 5 characters over the course of the season have actually died and never come back.
They all have something very interesting in common.
But I think me and Lilith we really liked evil Matt Parkman. So I think it's 3-2 on Parkman anyway. But yeah. And I am the moderator, so I can cut out that boo. No, I'm only joking.
If I can say something, I think when you meet all these characters 5 years later, they can't all be the same. Yeah. Someone needs to be drastically different from the last time we met them, and I think Matt was a good choice that because you do have that memory of 5 years gone, Matt, in the back of your head. Yeah. So you have something to reference that emotionally for the viewer.
Also, I think just his reasoning for being a bad guy, like just I'm tired of being stepped on, made perfect sense, especially going back into like the past seasons. He was that kind of afterthought character, I guess, and the one who was just used every now and then. So yeah, let's move on. Who has been your MVP of the new cast? Ty.
I think probably Tommy, and maybe it's just because he has Heroes powers, but I think he's my favorite of the new cast.
Daniel?
Ditto. I think he's the most fleshed out of the new characters. We know what he cares about, what he wants to do. I think he's also put in like the best performance of all of them, and I almost want to say Casper because he was the most interesting of all of the new people, and then they went and shot him in the forehead.
Yeah.
So that really disappointed
Spoiler!
Hey, that was 2 episodes ago. Free game.
I think me and Lilith have talked about how Casper kind of had that kind of HRG introduction where you kind of didn't know whether he was a good or a bad guy, but yeah, we really enjoyed him as well, and we're sad that he died. Shannon.
This is hard.
He's like, I should say Luke, but
I mean, yes. I mean, writing for the Nerd Machine, I feel like I'm kind of like obligated to be like, okay, clearly Luke is the best, but without trying to be biased, I'm kind of all thrown around with that now because maybe this is a weird choice, but I really liked Quentin.
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay.
She's a Brady cat. Yes.
I really loved Quentin. And then, like, everything that happened, like, I was so upset.
Oh, and evil Quentin was the best as well. Sorry.
No, I disagree with that very much.
Let Shannon finish, and then
no, it's cool. No, it's just I really loved Quentin, and I don't know, I kind of, this is going to sound horrible, I kind of see like Phoebe, his sister, as like, right now she's just being like super angsty teenager.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Quentin, you're so much better than this. Come on now. I mean, just from the last episode, it seems like he's kind of going to go back, hopefully, to the way that he was. But I love almost every line that he has. Like, I really love Quentin.
Yeah, definitely. And I understand where you're going with his sister being very angsty, because obviously she's always got the very pale face and the very dirty hair. But yeah, Daniel, you wanted to...
Well, yeah. I disagree with Quentin being the MVP post June 13th because I don't think, and I don't know the name of the actor that plays him. I don't think his performance has been nearly as strong since they came back to the present. But I loved him. If I could give an MVP award to like just a character relationship, it would have been his with HRGs.
Yeah,
because that was, they had that down to a science by the second episode, and it was perfect all the way up to when he died, and and HRG said, "Good job, buddy," but and which was really might have been like
it was
one of the most emotional moments
definitely
from the entire season so far. But I don't know why I didn't think of Quentin, but yeah, I'll still go with Nathan and Tommy.
Oh, that's fair enough. Like Evernow, it's just one of those things that you have to let play out before you pass judgment, especially on Evil Quentin, because technically he's only been Evil Quentin for like one episode, I think, right? Yeah, one, maybe two.
And I don't consider him an evil still. I still consider him in that same thing with Matt, where he's just out to keep his sister safe. So
but his character was likable enough that when he turned coat, it was like, no, don't, Quentin, you can't. And it's the same thing for Matt Parkman for me. It's like, oh no, you're a bad guy. I understand his motivation, but it's like, no, don't be bad, Quentin.
That was very upsetting. That was very upsetting. I just want to add something really quick, actually, if you guys don't mind, about Luke. And I do really like him. And if you don't mind, I kind of wanted to get what you guys thought about this, because I was talking about this with friends the other day. I think the reason why I specifically like Luke is because I feel like he's almost the only one in the show who has had like a story, I guess like a natural story arc. Like everyone's kind of time jumped and gone like one way and then the other and everything else. And I feel like he started one way and then he had like yes, like a typical redemption arc, but it was still, like it was there. And I feel like it's going to come to like an actual end.
Yes.
So I feel like I appreciate that a lot about that character, is because it started like it's kind of had like a very specific, like defined story, and I like that.
Kind of like how Tim's always said that Heroes Reborn's going to have a definitive beginning, middle, and end. That's essentially.
If you quote that one more time, so help me, I'm going to take a flight to London.
But no, I kind of do understand. I personally think it feels like it's taken a couple of episodes for Zach to get into the kind of character of Luke. I think when he was doing his kind of, no offense, but when he was doing his Harris impression in the first couple of episodes and just very deep voice all the time. I think that was kind of not campy, but I think it was just a bit hammy. But his expressions were still on point. But I definitely think he's had.
I have a theory about why they told him to do that. I feel like a lot of people had already been theorizing that Luke might be Siler, kind of quote unquote reborn or whatever. So like, yeah, do a good bad guy bass in your voice thing. Get the black baseball cap and black jacket out. Let's just totally mind screw these people.
I will say I preferred evil Luke acting wise. I preferred those first 2 or 3 episodes from him. But no, you are right. I mean, he does have a very clear story arc. He wants to seek for the redemption for however many people he's killed since June 13th. I don't think they've ever given like a definitive number or anything like that.
Okay, next question would be, with such a crowded, quote-unquote, meta-human world on television, meaning superheroes with actual powers and stuff, how do you think Heroes Reborn fares by today's standards as opposed to when Heroes was on and was actually really unique and like one of the only mainstream superhero shows on TV?
I think it's having a hard time. I think a lot of what's driving the popularity of the show is nostalgia fans.
Definitely.
Like myself, who watched the original show and wanted to watch the new show, but I watch Flash, I watch Arrow, I watch Supergirl, I watch all these other shows, and, it's not new anymore. But when Heroes was first on, it was totally unique and totally different. And I think this time around, they're trying to do some things with it to make it stand out, doing the online shows, Dark Matters and the magazines and the comic books and the games and all this stuff. I'm just not sure it's bringing new fans in.
Do you have anything to say on that, Daniel?
In 2006, I would argue it wasn't entirely unique because you still had Smallville over on the CW, which was in its 5th season in 2006.
Well, I said the mainstream. CW's not quite mainstream.
Anything that stars Superman is mainstream as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, it is a crowded marketplace. Heroes Reborn is on Thursday. On Mondays you got Gotham and now Supergirl. Tuesdays The Flash. Wednesdays Arrow. Oh, and Tuesdays also Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
And Thursdays now Heroes.
Zombies.
Legends of Tomorrow.
That will premiere January 21st.
Yeah.
What day does Heroes Reborn come back?
It comes back on the 7th and finishes on the 21st at 8 o'clock on a Thursday.
Oh crap! But yeah, it's still unique in the sense that it's an original premise. All those other shows are based off of other properties that have been around for decades and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it is harder. And like, I believe there was one episode where HRG said the word inhuman at the same time that you have over on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. them saying Inhumans and stuff like that. So with all these shows, you kind of see them fighting over like terminology and what to call people with abilities and stuff like that.
Oh no, I just read one of the books as well, and they mentioned the term mutants. So obviously that's not a sticking point for the books. Shannon?
I agree. I do. I think that they're kind of struggling a little bit because, I mean, not only is there such a large amount of superhero shows, but there's such good writing on some of them. That's mean, but oh well. Actually, I was just watching Jessica Jones when it came out, and that actually made me think a lot about Heroes Reborn because, like, you can't help but compare them, as much as you kind of shouldn't, because they should kind of be on their own. It's a superhero show. You have to. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of been, I think, more difficult because, I mean, the writing on Jessica Jones is just phenomenal. Mm-hmm. And then, like, you compare it to Heroes Reborn and you're like, I mean, I find myself when I watch Heroes Reborn, it's like, I wish this had happened, or I wish this had been said, or I don't understand this, so I feel like it needs to be explained better. Yeah, I think they're kind of struggling a little bit.
Can I say something? Okay, we're being ruined by the Netflix shows when it comes to long-form storytelling, production value, and just overall writing capabilities. I watched the first season of Daredevil in like a week or so, okay? Really loved it, enjoyed it. And then, like, the next week, I watched the very next episode of Arrow. And all of the glaring issues from Arrow just were that much more apparent after watching what they did on Daredevil. And part of that is because, like, the Netflix shows, they get, like, typically, I think, maybe 50 minutes per episode. Mm. And, like, with Heroes Reborn, Flash, Arrow, all those shows, they get, like, those 42-minute...
If you're lucky.
Yeah.
If you're lucky, and it's not very flexible. And so you get less time for relationships to play out, scenes to naturally develop, something that's like on Daredevil that, that you can take like a 2 to 3 minute scene. You get like a minute and a half on Heroes Reborn. And it kind of plays into how many episodes I think Heroes Reborn should have been. Mm-hmm. It's maybe 10 instead of 13. Yeah. And maybe cut out a few storylines. And we can talk about which storylines those would be later.
So I'm just going to go back on a couple of points. Ty was talking about like the nostalgia kind of driving the show. I think that's totally a case because everyone everywhere is like, where's Peter, where's Sylar? And I think it's put a lot of people off that they haven't returned, even though they've made it abundantly clear that, they don't want to or haven't been asked. But yeah, I think the nostalgia...
Mostly they don't want to.
But I do think the nostalgia has played a big part into the show because a lot of people are comparing it to the old show, and you just can't do that with especially the 5-year break and the change in TV as well, the kind of landscape. And I think Heroes was not ahead of its time, but I think the kind of to be continued thing, and it just made the show feel very much like a binge watch. So I don't know. I think if the show was binge watchable on Netflix or something, it might have been a bit better and a bit more concise. But yeah, that's something I guess we'll never have to really think about because it's week to week. So yeah.
And I do disagree. I do slightly disagree with an emphasis on nostalgia. I really do, because can we all agree that like the final 2 seasons of the original series got in trouble because they kept aping themselves, like doing the same thing over and over again?
Yes.
Sort of.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, it steadily dropped.
And just like they constantly were calling back to other stuff, to stuff that happened in the first or the second season, and I don't think they've been doing that as much in the first season. I mean, you haven't, up until Game Over, you weren't hearing like a heavy reliance on the music.
Yeah.
From the original series, and the absence of music in general was glaring to me. And then it felt so good to hear it again in like June 13th. Mm. Like you do see like the helix symbol in certain places, and you've only gotten one reference to Sylar from HRG.
Yeah.
You've gotten a passing reference to Nathan from Angela, and basically naming Tommy Nathan or whatever,
Yeah.
however you ever want to do that. You haven't even, Peter hasn't even been name dropped.
Because we all know who the favorite son of Angela is.
Yeah, he just said Nathan has the power that his uncle had. That's been the only reference we've gotten to Nathan. But I don't think they've been overworking the nostalgia.
This episode, though, you cannot deny was completely written as a love letter to the original Heroes fans.
Yeah, the premiere was definitely an apology, I think, to original Heroes fans.
No, I wouldn't say an apology.
I think so, a little bit.
Not an outright apology. It's like, hey, we've taken 5 years off. We went on a walkabout. We
found a turtle.
Found that turtle.
We found that turtle. And we know what we did wrong, and we were going to try to do better. That's how I saw that opening monologue from.
The monologue, yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
but
I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that. But speaking of monologues, we've only gotten like 2 from Mohinder. So
I was just gonna mention that. You notice that a couple of episodes they've had the bookends of Mohinder narrating, closing the episode, but it hasn't been every single one, and I'm not sure people who don't know about the original show even know what that's about, because that's definitely a direct callback to Heroes Prime.
Well, we all know that Hero took him to an insane asylum, and that's where he's been for the past year. So, yeah. Next, so we had an interview with Tim, and he said basically if he got a season 2, it would kind of be like what Heroes Reborn is, basically a brand new story, kind of introducing new characters with some of the old cast kind of coming in. So the question I'm going to ask is, if you were to bring back someone from Heroes Reborn into season 2 of Heroes Reborn, who would it be? The current crop of new characters as well.
The current crop. Well, Nathan, Noah if he doesn't die, Erica's daughter.
Yeah.
Taylor.
Yes, we are here for Taylor.
I've really been surprised by her after her first couple episodes. I wasn't that feeling what she was doing, but I really like where she's gone so far. Hopefully they can bring back Micah so he's not just a robot sitting in a glass container. Maybe Luke, if he doesn't sacrifice himself in a big ball of flaming glory or whatever. And the ghost of Casper. How about that?
Oh!
Shannon, who would you bring back from the current crop?
I'm actually I'm liking that Casper idea. Can we take him back? That'd be awesome.
It's literally going to be the Ghost of Christmas Past, and it will be Haitian, Renee from episode 1 and Casper just saying, this is your future. Sorry, Shannon.
It's okay. I think Taylor would be great, because I keep finding, like you guys said, I keep wanting more from her. I just want to know more about her and have more of a storyline for her. So I agree with her. I think that's all I'm gonna pick, because I kind of feel, not that I don't want to see anyone else, but I feel satisfied with everyone else. I think you would, I don't know, if you're gonna have a season 2 of Heroes Reborn or whatever you're gonna call it, you still have to have HRG back, because I feel like he's tying it together so much, the original series and this series, that I can't even imagine another season without him. So I feel like you would have to.
And that's why they're going to kill him off in the
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, I want Samuel back, because you got to have the Nepper to class things up. And I definitely want, if Melina doesn't die, I want Melina to come back, because still, literally, we're 10 episodes in, and all I know about her is that she's bold, brave, and ethereal, and she can bring butterflies and bees back to life.
And she looks really goofy when she uses her power.
Ty, who would you bring back?
Yeah, I think you have to have HRG as sort of a linchpin. I would like to see Micah. I'm not sure how much he's actually going to feature in the last few episodes.
I think the next one, it's rumored that it's called Hero Truther, so I think the next one's all about him.
So I hope so, but even if he's in the next 3 episodes, I mean, that's 3 out of 13. I'd like to see a lot more from him. And I'd like to see, Tommy come back. Most of the other ones, yeah, I could probably do without them in a new season. Sorry.
That's fair enough.
Wait, what's Jake Manley's character's name? Because he
Brad's.
just disappeared.
He's the Kate.
Let's bring Brad
Seriously?
back.
He totally disappeared. You're totally right, and that bothers me so much.
He's
Wait,
he's the
wait,
Caitlin.
who?
Exactly, Brad.
Oh, don't start that conversation, Ricky. I've seen that on several occasions.
Wait,
Well,
which,
and what
which
happened to HRG's fiance? After Quentin showed up, all of a sudden they
She's-
were off
she's
on
bu-
their adventure.
She's busy with wedding details.
Yes, and Brad is.
Wondering
She
where the
doesn't
heck
even notice her
HRG
groom's
went.
not there.
So no, what character was said?
Brad,
Who's Brad?
the boyfriend, Emily's
bully.
boyfriend.
No, I'm pretty sure she hasn't even broken up with him yet.
Yeah.
That's my theory. Is that she just hopped on the Tommy train and left the station.
Oh. Is anyone else suspicious of Emily?
Yes.
Yeah, Shannon, go on.
I didn't mean to interrupt, but
It's
I
fine.
totally am. Yes. She's just, I feel like with every teenager that they have had on either the original series or this new series, they've always done like the teenage angsty thing. Like they've acted like teenagers, and Emily is way too calm. She is just like, she's just too perfect. Like she knows exactly what to say, and she takes everything without completely freaking out.
Yeah.
And I'm totally suspicious of her. I don't trust her one bit. I know that's terrible. Like, good luck, Tommy, but I totally don't trust her.
I never thought of that as a reason for it to be suspicious of her. I just thought it was poor character development. For a character I actually like, there's just, yeah, like you said, there's not much to her, and she's just there to like encourage Tommy and like, you can do it,
Yeah.
and have Paris memorabilia on her walls.
Yes.
And I find it weird that she's the person that gives the lecture to him about heroes and how they're not cool anymore. So I feel like that was the entire purpose of her character, was to give him that lecture in Paris.
I think so. And does anyone else find it weird that like she's apparently never been to Paris before, but she knew exactly where the comic books were, like on some random street in Paris, like took them right there, didn't have to look around for it.
Well,
Again,
I think she said she'd read about them. So
Fair enough.
I mean, yeah.
She's not bad. She's just badly written.
Oh, fair.
I kind of think that might be the case,
Yes,
but either way,
correct.
I don't trust her.
I think that should be a segue. Badly written.
Exactly. I don't mind her character. She kind of is needed for, especially Tommy, to kind of, she's like his, the best way I can say it is like she's his hero to her Emma in season 4. But yeah, I would.
In Charlie.
Yeah,
Charlie.
exactly. And I would not be surprised if at the end she was working for an artist the whole time and was trying to sway him to the dark side. But anyway, let's talking about bad writing. Lilith.
Yeah, I don't think that this necessarily has to do with bad writing, but there are a ton of divisive, like, sticking points right now within the Heroes Reborn fandom, and the first one of those is Evernow. And so I want to ask you guys, what are your thoughts on Evernow? And also, before you answer this, have you played the mobile game?
Ty first.
I played the mobile game. I enjoyed it. It was kind of basic. You're talking about Enigma?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or is there an online version of Evernow?
No, not yet.
No.
I'm so
It should have
surprised.
been.
Yeah, but anyway.
I liked Evernow. I thought it was kind of interesting and something new. Yeah, the graphics are cheesy, but you know, it's an interesting plot device to have a character that goes in and out of virtual reality and real life. You know, it kind of raises some questions.
Definitely.
Like, how would you not know you were a machine or whatever? And you know, you sacrificed yourself to save the master of time and space, and then suddenly you're alive again in the future. How did that happen?
Shannon?
I'm just confused, to be honest. That's
the name of the next volume.
Yeah, confused. I don't really understand like any of it. I think you're right. I think that it's an interesting way to go with the story, but I guess I just don't get it. I don't understand how I can't remember his name. Miko's dad.
Hachiro.
Thank you. Hachiro, I don't understand his power at all. I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense to me. So I don't really get how that works. Like, I feel like that needs to be explained a little bit more.
Okay.
I think, like, I feel like I can't even give like a I like it or I don't, because I'm just so confused about it.
I really didn't like Evernow. Like, I'm not gonna lie, because it looks like Mortal Kombat and like Tekken from like 2005 on PlayStation 2. So that really like just threw me as a gamer. And then like when we had that interview with Tim, I totally could get it from a writer's perspective. But I really didn't have any connection to Evernow until I played the game, and I think the game really helped shore up my reservations about Evernow.
Daniel, what were your thoughts on Evernow?
The pilot, the Brave New World, was incredible, except for the poorly just developed introduction of Miko and everything related to that. The only good episodes that involved Miko were when they weren't in the video game, because the video game, we could have a completely separate discussion about the consistency of powers being introduced into the series compared to the original series. But just character, like the Evermore storyline, it could have ended with game over.
Yeah. And
then in June 13th, we had to see Otomo create Miko for whatever reason, because that was all stuff that we could just have assumed happened. We didn't need to see it. And I think the result of the Miko storyline is what happened when they found out they were only going to get Masaoka for 3 episodes.
Okay.
And they had to scramble to figure out a way to introduce him. But no, I mean, Shannon's completely right. The power just doesn't make any real sense within the logistics of the universe.
Yeah.
And it's one of just a few storylines I could have really done without.
We've tried our
best.
best.
You no. You tell them how you feel about Evernow.
Evernow.
You seem to like it from the get-go.
I wouldn't say liked it. I often have compared it to season 2 of Heroes, in the fact that it's one of those things that will be forever linked to a show. So like, if anyone talks about Heroes, they will go, yeah, but season 2, during the writer's strike. That's how I compare Evernow to Heroes Reborn. It's that thing that will instantly kind of come up in people's minds, and it will probably be the first quote unquote bad thing that they talk about. But I knew how Tim kind of told his stories, and it's a long kind of game, no pun intended. Yeah, I wouldn't say I liked it, but I was waiting for the kind of the bombshell of what it was, basically. And I didn't mind it, and I will always not defend it, but I will try and work my way around it in my own headcanon as to what actually is going on. So yeah. God, you really confused me there by asking me a question.
So it's just one of those things that you're kind of passionate about. So I thought.
So when you make the comparison to season 2, are you talking about the writer's strike, or are you talking about like a specific storyline from season 2,
the
like
writer's
Maya?
Strike. No, oh no, not Maya.
Don't get us started on the Hernandez. No, the Herreras. There we go.
We compare it to I compare it to basically the writer's strike. I think that's the first. I kind of when the episode first came out, that was what I was comparing it to. It was that one thing that everyone that would be intricately linked to the show, in the kind of, oh, this is why it's bad, or this is why it's good kind of thing, I guess. Let's carry on with this kind of questioning. What other kind of sticking points have there been for you in the show?
Carlos, I can't. I don't know why he's there. I don't know why I'm supposed to care about him. My biggest problem, I think, I almost want to say of the entire series is, and forgive me because I don't know what episode it was, but in one of the episodes, Carlos jumped out of a 3-story window to the street, and he was a little hurt, but he was essentially unharmed.
Yeah.
Which made me believe that he was an Evo, and I guess he's not. he still could be now because, you know, of everything that happened before they went to Sunstone. But I think what bothers me more than anything is I don't really care. Like, I don't really care about his character. His storyline is doing absolutely nothing for me. Which is weird because I feel like when they were promoting the show,
Yes,
I felt like El
I know,
Vengador, was such a big part of their promotion. Like, this is a big, like, I felt like they kind of made it like, this is a big new character that you need to know about. And I don't care about him even a little bit. Even when they joined him up, I'm forgetting everyone's name tonight, with what's-her-face.
Farah.
Thank you. Yeah, when they joined him up with Farah, I was kind of like, all right, well, okay, but I'm still not seeing what the deal is here. So he has really just been the biggest point for me where I'm like, something needs to happen. Something needs to make me care about this guy. Something needs to be developed with him, because otherwise I don't know why he's here.
Ty?
Well, I was going to say, and it seems like they, you know, the comic book, the first series focuses on El Vengador and kind of tells more of that story. So it kind of seems like maybe his story in the show got shortchanged because they knew it was going to be expanded on in the comic books. Not that anybody would be reading the comic books, but yeah. And there's been a couple episodes where Carlos' story has just been non-existent. And apologies to Shannon, but my big sticking point is the whole Luke and Joanne storyline.
You don't have to apologize. It's totally fine. It's totally fine. I'm not insulted.
I like Luke's character now more since Joanne got kicked to the curb. But, you know, every single episode that I reviewed, I was like, I hate this storyline. Like, I don't buy that they turn into these bloodthirsty killers that are just going out and just mercilessly slaughtering as many Evos as they can get their hands on. It just was a big sticking point. And when they broke into Primatech and got the files and Joanne was just like looking at the list like it was Christmas, I was like, ugh, this is just not believable.
Well, to be fair, they didn't break in. They were sent there.
Well, they just happened to pick
out.
up the file.
Daniel.
Yeah, going off like the comic book comment, like I went to, I think it was last week, I went to, you know, the comic book store to get my usual pickup of Star Wars comics, and I saw the Heroes Reborn comic, which I kind of knew existed, but hadn't really heard anything about it. And so, you know, I picked it up and flipped through it and was like, oh, it's El Vengador, and then kind of just put it back on the shelf.
Exactly.
And Shannon, you mentioned the promos. Like, the second and third trailers for the show, like, relied heavily on him giving that speech out in front of the school and stuff like that. And you thought, oh, he's going to be a major part, or at least probably the secondary lead character to Noah or something like that. And we're 3 episodes from the end, and he still has not met a single main character in this series.
He met the director.
He's a support character on the outer rims of this entire narrative. He hasn't met anyone else. He's been out on this island by himself, and he shouldn't be at this point in the season. Part of me wishes that they had just swapped out Captain Deering, the cop, for Carlos, because that would have been a much more interesting narrative.
Yes.
The only thing I think Carlos has going for himself is that he's not an Evo.
Or is he? It's a big question.
I don't think he is.
Well, if he's an Evo, what are his powers?
Oh, there's many a theory.
Intuitive aptitude.
No, I think he's Forge, but yeah, that's just me.
He's a functioning alcoholic, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't. That could be. Super. But no, I don't. He's been out on this island, and if you'd taken a scalpel and just cut him out of the show,
it wouldn't have made a difference.
It wouldn't. The only benefit we've gotten out of him is that he took us to Sunstone, where Matt is, and that's it.
Lilith.
It's the Miko thing. You know, she didn't get to be a real girl so far. And it's the comments, you know, it's the typical comments. Why introduce a character that is potentially so BAMF and then just shoo her off into the corner? And, you know, her and Ren were really cool together. So how come we couldn't get more time of them together? And I mean, with Hero already connected to Tommy, they could have avoided this whole thing. I just really disappointed with the outcome of that because I really love Miko and Ren together.
I do too. I agree with you there. I really like them together too.
Yeah, they've got that kind of, I've said the kind of reverse Hero Ando kind of relationship where you've got the really happy-go-lucky human with the kind of brooding kind of sidekick, I guess, for lack of a better term, I guess. I think the whole Carlos thing is a big sticking point as well. But I did like the different context of the little talk that they did. You know how in the promos, it seems like he's delivering like this big, massive message, and then when you cut to the actual scene, it's just him being drunk. I love it.
And the character we got in that episode is more interesting than the character we got in the 9 episodes after it. So,
but I do agree with the whole kind of he's out on an island, and I think that's why it's a major sticking point. Whereas everyone kind of started gradually kind of meeting each other or crossing paths, I guess is the best way to say it. He was always left on the periphery, and the only kind of mention we got of him was everyone always talking about El Vengador, and he wasn't even El Vengador at that point. So yeah, I actually found him a bit more interesting when Farah was attached to him, but I guess that's that's just me personally, and I'm really excited to see where it goes, and I like the idea of having a costume superhero in Heroes. For once, we nearly got it with Ando as the Crimson Lightning, but never to be.
Ando Mike.
But I'm also really looking forward to this kind of Hero Truther team up as well. So I guess we'll start wrapping up.
Top 3 episodes?
Top 3 episodes. We'll start with Daniel.
Probably June 13th, part 1.
Is this in number 1 to number 3 or number 3 to number 1?
1 to 3.
Cool.
The first episode, Brave New World, and then Odessa.
Okay. Shannon?
I think my favorite is still the premiere. That might change. I think the premiere is the first one still for me. Then
are you counting the premiere as 2 or as 1?
No, like not the 2 episodes.
Just when
Brave New World.
Yes, Brave New World. Again, I'm doing terrible today, so thank you for supplying all the names and titles of everything. That's awesome. Yeah, I think Brave New World is going to be my favorite. And then I think June 13th, part 1. I don't know what my third would be. But those 2 definitely stand out for me.
Ty?
Yeah, I would agree. The first episode, Brave New World, was awesome. I mean, just that first glimpse of HRG was like, oh, you know,
literally on the bench. But yeah,
exactly. And then June 13th, part 1. I thought the second part was not as awesome, and I can't remember the name of it, but the first episode where we actually got to see
Game Over
Hero Prime characters.
Yeah, Game Over.
Yeah. That was like, I've been waiting how many episodes to see, you know,
how many times have they teased it? Yeah.
They've teased it, and, you know, it's like, okay, these new characters are kind of cool, but I want to see Hero, and I want to see Mohinder, and I want to see all these other people. So those would be my top 3.
Go on, Lilith.
Brave New World, number 1. Yeah, June 13th, part 1, number 2. And then I'm struggling between The Lion's Den and Game Over, but I'm just going to go Game Over because, well, we got to save the Master of Time and Space.
Exactly.
And then it's the Paris without the green screen.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with, in my third spot, it will be Game Over because I'm a Hero fan and just seeing him again was good enough for me. I'm really, really shocked that he didn't bring him, like, Future Hero back in episode 4 because I thought that would have been a nice little Easter egg to the original episode 4. June 13th, part 1, because everyone else has done it, and, you know, it's a great episode. And I am going to slyly bring in Heroes Reborn Dark Matters into
Ooh, for the win!
into the top, because, you know, all of them together, it's technically an episode, so yeah.
Well, and they even say as much that Dark Matters is really like Heroes Reborn episode 0, and then the first episode of Heroes Reborn is actually Odessa and not Brave New World.
I'm curious what you guys think in relation to June 13th, Part 1 and Part 2, if you look at Dark Matters, which time through the loop is that we're watching on Dark Matters?
So we rewatched Dark Matters today for a live tweet, and the way I see it is episode 3 of Dark Matters is where they go to the hospital. He's not wearing the same shirt, and Ali's with him. So in my eyes, she left, and he went to another hospital, which was the one that he met Erica at, and basically he's been a double agent the whole time. So if you look at episode 4, which I think is Renatus, he is still kind of working for Erica, but still kind of double agenting, and that's why Micah is captured in the last episode, because he basically has sold out Micah to get what Erica wants, basically. So that's my headcanon.
Your head, yeah, I like that term. I don't think he's been a double agent the entire time. I think he became a butterfly. I still can't figure out how exactly.
Yeah, that's a big sticking point, huh?
Like he said in, I think it was Game Over or the episode before that, he said, I almost got a chance to talk to Erica, so he didn't. And so the thing that got him to talk to Erica was HRG shooting her and her stumbling through the door in which he was in. So in the original, the first time through the timeline, was he on the other side of that door and there wasn't the HRG feature to shoot her, and she just strolled past him because he was too nervous to talk to her, or what?
I think
Don't
we're
hurt
never going to be answering this question.
The writers didn't, so don't you do it either.
Just check out the inside of the Eclipse where they say, why can't we do this? It's time travel. It's not real. So yeah, which is a big sticking point. But anyway, tie-in content. That was a big thing about the first kind of Heroes Prime, I guess. Have you guys been checking out the extra kind of Heroes tie-in content, and which ones have you liked the most thus far? So I'll go with Shannon first.
No.
That's fair enough.
The only thing other than the actual show that I've really looked into at all was I watched the prequel, which I loved.
Yes.
I love Dark Matters. I almost going to go as far as saying I almost like it better than the show at this point. I just thought it was done so well. It made me so excited for the show. Other than that, I haven't. And I feel like the reason for that specifically is because I don't know what's going on with the show so much already. And I'm so confused about so many different things. And there's so many questions that I have just from the episodes themselves that I'm kind of like, I can't yet. Like, I feel like I will check that stuff out when the show's over, but I just can't right now. I just need more from the actual show to actually go into the other stuff.
Fair enough. Ty?
Yeah, I have not checked out Dark Matters, but it sounds like I should from what y'all are saying.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, you need to get on that.
Is that the one with Phoebe and Quentin? And
yes. So good.
Okay. Really did not like her character in the show.
You will like
so
her. So
underused. Oh, she's here and all the powers are not working. But anyways, yeah, I actually have, I reviewed the magazine, which I thought was fantastic. It's a monthly magazine, and the one that I looked at was like 50 pages long. It had interviews with cast and crew and behind the scenes, and, it was really, really excellent. Tons of information. I reviewed the comic book. I did not like the comic book. I didn't like how it was drawn, and as we mentioned earlier, it focuses on El Vengador, which is kind of one of the least interesting stories. And I also reviewed the Heroes Enigma mobile game, and it's interesting, but it's really just puzzle solving. You have 3 abilities. What combination do you need to use them in to get to the next level? So, it's spotty. Some of it's good, some of it's not so good, but, it's interesting and it's out there, and you should probably check some of it out.
How many levels did you get stuck on for more than like half an hour?
Oh, I had to Google a lot through. I got stuck on, I think, level 9, and now I'm stuck on like 13. So right. I gave up.
Daniel?
No, I have not, because unlike 2006 through 2010, I have a lot more going on in my life. Like with the original series, I read the Saving Charlie book. I would
I'm sorry.
wait. It wasn't that bad. I would wait patiently on Tuesday afternoons in my radio TV class as the web comic would slowly load with each page. But I just haven't had the time or the inclination to really see what else is going on because I did watch the Dark Matter stuff. I did watch that. I'm to the point where like if you can't fully explain your stories within the concept of the original platform that you introduced it on, like I really don't have the time. But no, Dark Matters was good, and like the effort put into that compared to the Echo web series during the first. Do you guys remember that?
Yes, going postal.
That's what it was called. Yeah. Compared to that, it was just phenomenal because you had that 4-episode Going Postal series for this character Echo. Then he gets shown on the main show, doesn't have a line, and gets killed off camera.
It's still better than Hero's Destiny, so yeah.
I don't even know what that is actually. What was
it was the create your own character that they did. It was awful. So yeah.
Okay, then. We managed to get this entire time without really talking about Erica or Harris.
Oh, do you want to... Oh!
We know nothing about Erica and Harris.
Yeah. Well, Company Woman's, episode 12, I believe, so...
Is it? Oh, okay.
That's Mac on Set tweeted that out, so yeah, that's the name of the title, so that's obviously going to be a... I guess Erica-centric episode.
It's going to be a Taylor episode. You take that back.
No, that gets me excited because we're 10 episodes in, and you still don't know her real motivation for what she's doing. You have no idea how she got to be where she is. You have no idea how she convinced Harris and Evo to go along with what she's doing, and you don't know anything about Harris, like at all.
I have an answer for you for that.
Okay.
They're lovers.
Okay.
One of them is. It's one of the Harris clones. It's like
one of them.
It's like that guy from Watchmen.
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't thought about that, but no.
Erica.
I like Harris. He's cool.
Harris
He's been
the best.
But there's nothing to him except being menacing.
And that voice though, come on.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. Like I hate Erica in the best way possible. Yeah. I don't know the actress name. She does her perfectly.
Rhea Kilstead.
Really, that Company Woman. That's the 12th episode.
Yeah.
Oh, that kind of episode should have came earlier in the season.
Yeah.
Should have. It really, really should have.
What do you, Shannon? What do you think of Erica and Harris together? No, I'm joking.
I kind of agree. I like them. I think unfortunately for me, for most of the characters, I just feel like it's such a short series and there's so many questions I have. And I think, just kind of going as an overall issue that I have with the show is that there's just not enough time, and I feel like there's too many characters, not enough time. Yeah. That's kind of just how I feel about the series as a whole. So it's gotten to the point where like I have to kind of just deal with not knowing about stuff. I hope that if in the 12th episode we get a lot more about Erica, that'd be great. I do agree that Rhea is doing an awesome job. And I do like them as characters, and you're right, like I hate them. I can't stand them, and I don't know why. But I fully have gotten on board that they're the bad guys, but I just don't know enough about them yet.
Ty?
She's kind of we know she's a villain. I mean, that scene where she shoots the deer, that was ridiculous. Like, oh, here's a deer grazing in my yard. Let me shoot it with a shotgun and then have a conversation while I'm gutting it. Like, seriously.
I clearly wasn't paying enough attention to that episode because when she was cleaning the deer, like the first time I watched it, I was like, "What is that?" Like I'd completely forgotten about the deer at the beginning.
Yeah,
of the
she
episode.
skinned that thing, and then she served venison to Tommy at that like creepy dinner.
You guys hate Erica in like the good way. Why do you think a lot of people hate Joanne, but just in the wrong way?
Well, and you notice the last time we saw Joanne, she left the diner or the ice cream parlor and she got into the car with Harris.
Hmm.
And we have not seen her since.
Unless you've seen Damon
Well,
Peak.
Unless, no, actually, we have that Cadillac
Yeah.
commercial,
Yep.
which had better production values than some scenes in Heroes Reborn.
Those car chases, they were great. Shannon.
Oh, this is not the right question to ask me. I have so much to say about Luke and Joanne. I have so much to say about them. Just personally with Joanne, I want to I'm a big villain person. I really like villains. I really wanted to like Joanne, and I really still wanted to like her in the way that, like, she's bad, but she's such an awesome villain. Like how, I don't know, like it's kind of like how I felt about Sylar in like the first season of Heroes, original Heroes. That I was like, oh, he's awful, but he's great. So I really, really wanted to like her. But Luke and Joanne's storyline is one that I feel like has so much potential and was just handled not in the way that it should have been at all. Like,
You mean like an episode where Luke just mopes around his house for an entire episode?
they
Like-
made Zach
Looking at pictures.
cry for like 5 episodes straight. I was like, I can't anymore. Like, give him something. I mean, even the scene in the ice cream shop, I wanted it to be like such a big showdown. Like, I was like, you know what? This will make up for all the mopey scenes if it's just awesome right now. Like, I would love this to just be such a great showdown, and it was not.
Well, it was going to be, and then Tommy froze time.
Just
Yeah.
blame Tommy.
Yes, yeah, I do. I'm totally with Tommy. I mean, like I've said already a billion times, I think a lot of the characters are suffering from lack of storyline because of lack of time. But
Because there's too many storylines.
Yeah.
yes, and I don't know. I could go on forever. I just think that the both of them had so much potential, and it just went right out the window.
Ty?
Yeah, I agree. She just seems like too much of a one-sided character. You know, all we've seen is, okay, she's lost her child and now she's just a killing machine. And that's like her entire arc. I'm going to go out and I'm going to kill and I'm going to kill, I'm going to kill. And like, okay, so there's no growth. Like Luke has this whole thing where he's like, he starts to feel bad and then he decides he's going to, you know, break out on his own. And then he's trying to help Melina, and HRG is like, get out of here, creep.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, there's a lot more to him and not so much to her. So, yeah, but I don't like that storyline anyways.
We'll see. We'll see when she becomes company agent number 1. But yeah.
I do have one, Joanne. Like, I hate her for all, I think for all the right reasons. I agree she needed a little bit more, but she might have my favorite line of the entire season from the second episode when they're in the basement or whatever, and she's talking to Luke, and she says, "I know I can be a bit harsh," or something like that.
A taskmaster.
A taskmaster, and then she just pauses and goes, "I just can't bear to half-ass it." and Judith Ciccone, who plays her, she owns it. Like the scene in June 13th, Part 2, where she just goes ballistic. That's like one of the few like holy crap that happened moments from the season, and the look on her face after she
the way it changes, yeah,
and the look on Luke's face as he's seeing that. I wouldn't have been surprised if Zachary Levi like if that wasn't like genuine fear on his face.
Well, you can tell why Luke's sticking around, because otherwise, you know, scissor to the neck, basically. So yeah, we're just going to finish up on what predictions you have for the final 3 episodes. I'll start with you, Ty.
Oh man, I don't know. It's a tough one. There's just so many storylines going on, and you know, we still have yet to figure out how Tommy and Melina are going to come together, and how, you know, Tommy's powers are not going to cancel out hers, and how they're going to save the world. You know, Erica's trapped in the future. So I think they will free Micah. he will unite with the Truthers and all the other character arcs that have come together to this point. They'll all come together and they'll actually end up saving the world. But then I don't know what happens after that, you know? It's still a world where Evos are considered bad guys, and, you know, some people are trying to hunt them down and they're feared, so what happens after that? You know, I'd like to see a new baddie for a season 2. I just don't know if there's going to be a season 2.
You just gave me the name of my future Heroes fan band called Hanging Out with the Truthers.
Nice. Shannon?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to predict because things just go all over the place so much. I will say that, I mean, obviously it's looking like Quentin's going to have a turnaround. So there's that. I guess you can kind of bet on a little bit. I don't think Luke's going to make it out of the show. Yeah. I think he's going to, but I think we're all in agreement with that. I mean, just for the story arc's sake, I think he's going to sacrifice himself. Hopefully Carlos will prove himself to be something. I don't know what, but something. I mean, that's really all I've got at this point.
Daniel?
Yeah, I think Luke will go out in literally a blaze of glory.
Hey,
I don't know how. I have no idea how that's going to play out. The only thing I can predict is that like they'll somehow figure a way for Tommy to like transport the planet briefly as the Healy's passing over where it should be.
And for that, they need a supercharger, and there's only one supercharger in the Heroes universe. That's when Endo makes his grand return.
Give me James! Constantly!
Sorry.
That'd be so out of left field that actually happened.
Yeah, that would kind of be amazing if that happened.
I don't want HRG to die, but it could potentially happen.
Yeah.
I want to say that the person that transported HRG away from that car was Tommy.
Yeah.
From maybe
the future.
Some point in the future.
Imagine he turns up like Future Hero with a ponytail all slick back. But yeah, anyway, sorry. Yeah.
You know, there's part of me that wishes, oh yeah, that's clearly Peter Petrelli, guys. That's clearly it. But I really don't have. Matt might die. I don't know if he's in the next 3 episodes or not. Really, any prediction I can make would be based off of just who lives and who dies. Yeah. Because you just don't know what's gonna happen in that finale. That hopefully there's a sense of urgency for the last 3 episodes with. That the first 10 have kind of lacked. But yeah, and hopefully we get a ton more 10th or 9th Wonder comics.
Yes.
Or something. I don't know.
Cool.
Who's writing 9th Wonder? Well, how about that? Let's get a reveal about who's writing 9th Wonder.
Mendez's ghost.
Who's also going to be featured in season 2 along with Casper's ghost. So yeah. And we brought it all the way back round.
That will be the prequel digital series, Casper's Ghost with
Casper the Friendly Ghost. How did we miss that?
Oh my god!
Sorry, Lilith.
Okay, Tommy's gonna go back in time and stop Claire from jumping off and stopping himself from being born. Boom, 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 and she ends up with Gretchen, and they only have one child, and it's Melina, and we actually get to know something other than she's brave, bold, and ethereal.
Oh,
nice.
I don't want it to happen, but
and Wes is the sperm donor. By the way.
That would be Wes is the sperm donor.
Yeah, all good. See, we got it all worked out.
I mean, I don't think we're going to be seeing Claire Bennett simply because Hayden Panettiere's got dealing with some stuff.
It will be the back of her head, and you'll hear some
brown wig.
Yes, it will be.
Her name is Sandra.
Yes, 5 years gone, Claire.
Okay, here's my off the wall prediction. The 12th episode will actually solve. They actually prevent the Healy, and the 13th episode will actually be Noah's wedding.
Oh. Nice.
Just an entire episode long wedding episode.
Will they? Won't they? And
will they find the rings?
Yes. And will Sandra
find the rings? Save the wedding.
And will Sandra turn up with Mr. Muggles to stop it all? So yeah. Finally, if you guys just want to give out your shameless plugs for us, Ty, do you want to start?
Sure. So I write for a variety of outlets. Most of my Heroes Reborn stuff is for flickeringmyth.com, but I also write for batmannews.com. We got this covered, and I also do some social media and writing for henrycavill.org.
Cool. Shannon?
I'm mainly just on the Nerd Machine. So my hero stuff is over there. I write a bunch of other stuff, Star Wars related stuff, podcast stuff, and everything else. So you can find me over there.
Cool. And Daniel?
I write the reviews for Heroes for Herosite.net. My full-time job is writing about NASCAR for NBC Sports.
Cool.
So you can find my byline there. And you can follow me on Twitter at Daniel McFadin. It's all one word, and my last name is spelled McFadin. And I have a movie podcast that I sometimes do with a friend of mine called Movie Takes.
Awesome.
Okay, that was our first roundtable for Rebellion Reborn. We hope you found it informative and mainly just entertaining. So, you guys know what to do, where to find us, because we say it every single episode just about. So, we're just going to let you get out of here, and I'm going to let Ricky do the thing.
Keep the rebellion alive.